The Grateful Mouse. Once upon a time, in a quaint little village surrounded by golden fields and whispering meadows, there lived a tiny mouse named Mimi. Mimi was no larger than a thimble, with soft, silvery fur and bright, curious eyes that sparkled with wonder. She made her home in a cozy nook within the stone walls of an old, ivy-clad cottage. Though the other creatures of the farm often overlooked her small size, Mimi's heart was full of courage, kindness, and an unyielding spirit of adventure. Every day, Mimi scurried through the village at dawn, darting between sunbeams and shadows, searching for morsels of food and little treasures left behind by the humans. Life for the little mouse was simple and often challenging, for the world was vast and full of dangers for one so small. Yet, Mimi's gentle nature and resourcefulness enabled her to thrive despite the odds. One harsh winter, when the winds howled like sorrowful ghosts and the ground was blanketed in a thick layer of snow, Mimi's world grew even more perilous. Food became scarce, and the once friendly paths of the village turned treacherous under icy layers. One bitterly cold evening, as Mimi ventured out in search of a scrap of bread near the barn, she found herself caught in an old, rusty trap, a cruel contraption forgotten by time but still dangerous to a creature as small as she. The trap snapped shut with a deafening clang, pinning Mimi's delicate leg and leaving her trembling in pain. Helpless and frightened, she cried out softly, her tiny voice barely audible over the winter wind. Her cries reached the ears of a kindly old farmer named Elias, who had long cared for every living creature on his land. When Elias discovered the trap and saw the injured mouse inside, his heart ached with compassion. Gently, without causing her further distress, Elias freed Mimi from the trap and cradled her in his weathered hands. He carefully cleaned her wounded leg with warm water and wrapped it in a soft piece of cloth. Over the next few days, the farmer nurtured Mimi back to health, placing a small dish of warm milk and bits of cheese near her little hiding spot, ensuring that she was well fed and safe. Mimi, though still weak from her ordeal, felt an overwhelming gratitude for the kindness shown to her by this gentle soul. As spring melted away the chill of winter, Mimi regained her strength. She resumed her daily adventures, but now her tiny heart carried a deep, abiding sense of gratitude. Determined to repay the kindness that had saved her life, Mimi began to look for ways to help the farmer and his beloved animals, even though she was just a small mouse in a vast world. One bright morning, as the village stirred awake with the vibrant colors of spring, Mimi noticed that the old barn, home to many of the farmer's animals, was in disarray. A crafty rat had crept into the granary and was feasting on the stored grain, threatening to ruin the farmer's precious supplies. The infestation was causing the other animals to become agitated, and the farmer was unaware of the damage that was slowly being done. Remembering the help that had once been bestowed upon her, Mimi knew that this was her chance to show gratitude in return. With her small but nimble body, she scurried into the barn under cover of dusk when the rat was most active. Quietly, she observed the rat's habits and soon discovered that the rodent was especially fond of the dark, hidden corner near a broken plank, where it stored its ill-gotten treasures. Mimi devised a clever plan. She raced back to her little nook in the cottage and returned with a small piece of cloth and a scrap of dried fruit, the very treats that the farmer sometimes left out as rewards for his hard-working animals. With determination sparkling in her eyes, Mimi began to scatter these treats near the rat's hideout. Night after night, the treats lured the rat out of its lair, tempting it to venture out into the open. Curious and unsuspecting, the rat began to leave its hideout in search of the delicious morsels. In the meantime, Mimi quickly scurried into the granary and, using her sharp little teeth, carefully chewed through a tangled net of old ropes and debris that had inadvertently blocked the entrance. When the rat finally returned, it was met with an unexpected sight. The once well-hidden store was now open and exposed. The rat, startled by the sudden change, fled in a panic, leaving the granary safe and the stolen grain intact. The next day, the farmer discovered the damage the rat had caused and was astonished to find that his grain supplies were secure once again. He soon learned from the barn's caretaker that a little mouse had been seen darting about the granary, seemingly on a mission. Though he never fully understood how such a small creature could have made such a difference, the farmer's heart swelled with gratitude. He began leaving small tokens of appreciation, scraps of cheese, tiny pieces of bread, near the entrance of the granary, hoping to thank the unseen helper. Mimi's deed soon became a quiet legend among the animals of the farm. The chickens clucked in admiration, the dogs wagged their tails with respect, and even the other mice looked up to her as a symbol of courage and gratitude. Each day, as Mimi ventured out to gather food or explore the farm's secret corners, she carried with her the memory of the farmer's kindness and the warmth it had given her in her darkest hour. Over time, the bond between Mimi and the farmer grew stronger. Though he was unaware of the full extent of her adventures, the old farmer would often remark on the fortuitous appearance of the little mouse, believing that fate had sent her to watch over his home. And whenever Mimi glimpsed the kindly farmer tending his garden or feeding the animals, she felt a deep satisfaction, a quiet reminder that even the smallest heart can hold vast amounts of gratitude and love. In the end, Mimi's story spread far and wide, not through boisterous proclamations or grand displays, but through the gentle ripples of kindness that touched every corner of the farm. Her life became a testament to the simple truth that gratitude is a gift best shared, one that can bridge differences, heal wounds, and bring light to even the darkest days. Moral of the story **** The grateful mouse teaches us that kindness and gratitude, no matter how small the gesture, can make a tremendous difference. When we repay kindness with our own acts of goodness, we create a cycle of compassion that enriches both our lives and the lives of those around us. Even the tiniest creature can inspire great change through a heart full of thankfulness.